Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. Today we're talking about a topic that affects almost everyone, the science of good sleep. We'll learn why sleep matters, how to describe our sleep habits in English, and what practical steps can help us rest better.
Great topic, Jake. I chose it because many people say, I'm tired, but they do not always know how to explain what is happening. For example, do you usually sleep well?
Usually, yes, but I have a bad habit. I sometimes stay up late because I want to finish one more episode of a show. Then, the next morning, I feel groggy. Groggy means tired, slow, and not fully awake.
That is a useful word, groggy. You can say, I felt groggy after only 5 hours of sleep. I have the opposite problem sometimes. I go to bed at a reasonable time, but my mind keeps racing.
When your mind races, you have many fast-moving thoughts and you cannot relax. What do you think about?
Everything. Work, tomorrow's plans, a message I forgot to answer, and even a small mistake from 10 years ago. My brain acts as if midnight is the perfect time to solve every problem.
That sounds familiar. Before we discuss solutions, let's explain why sleep is so important. Sleep is not simply a period when the body stops working. It is an active process. During sleep, the brain organizes information, supports memory, and helps the body repair itself.
Exactly. If you study English in the evening and sleep well afterward, your brain has time to strengthen what you learned. Sleep also supports attention. When you are sleep deprived or lacking enough sleep, it becomes harder to concentrate, make decisions, and control your emotions.
Sleep deprived is a useful adjective. It means that a person has not had enough sleep. For example, the sleep-deprived student had trouble remembering new vocabulary. Notice that we can also say, I'm running on very little sleep. That means we are continuing our day with almost no rest.
And sometimes people try to catch up on sleep at the weekend. They sleep until noon on Saturday and Sunday. Does that work?
It may help a little, but it can also disturb your body clock. Your body clock is the natural system that tells you when to feel awake and when to feel sleepy. If you wake up at 7 on weekdays but at noon on weekends, your body may become confused.
So a regular schedule is important. That means going to bed and waking up at about the same time every day. It may sound boring, but regularity gives your body a predictable rhythm.
Here is a practical tip: choose a wake-up time first. Many people focus only on bedtime, but waking up at a consistent time can gradually make it easier to feel sleepy at night.
I like that. Another important idea is a wind-down routine. To wind down means to slowly relax after a busy period. A wind-down routine might include taking a warm shower, reading a paper book, stretching gently, or listening to calm music.
The phrase, wind down, is useful in everyday conversation too. You can say, I need some quiet time to wind down after work. It does not mean stopping instantly. It means reducing your energy step by step.
What about phones and laptops? Many people use them in bed.
That can be a problem for two reasons. First, interesting messages and videos keep the brain alert. Alert means awake and ready to respond. Second, the light from a screen can affect the body's signals for sleep, especially when we use a device very close to bedtime.
So should we throw our phones out the window?
That would be dramatic, and probably expensive. A more realistic tip is to create a technology-free period before bed. Start with 15 or 30 minutes. Put the phone across the room, turn off unnecessary notifications, and use an ordinary alarm clock if possible.
That last point is important. If your phone is next to your pillow, you may check it without even thinking. We can call that an automatic habit. To break it, change the environment instead of depending only on willpower.
Good advice. The bedroom environment matters too. A comfortable room should usually be dark, quiet, and slightly cool. Of course, everyone has different preferences. Some people need complete silence, while others sleep better with a fan or soft background noise.
And the bed should be connected with sleep, not with working, eating, and worrying. If you always answer emails in bed, your brain may start to associate the bed with activity.
Associate is a useful vocabulary word. To associate one thing with another means to connect them in your mind. For example, I associate the smell of coffee with early mornings. In this case, we want to associate the bedroom with calm and rest.
Let's talk about naps. I love a short nap in the afternoon. Are naps helpful or harmful?
A short nap can be helpful, especially if you are temporarily tired. But a long nap late in the day may make it difficult to sleep at night. A good rule for many adults is to keep a nap brief and take it earlier rather than later.
Brief means short. You might say, let's have a brief meeting, or I took a brief nap. What about caffeine?
Caffeine can stay in the body for several hours, so coffee, tea, energy drinks, and even some kinds of chocolate may affect sleep. People react differently, but if you have trouble sleeping, notice when you consume caffeine. Keep a simple record for a few days.
That is a good experiment. We can call it a sleep diary. You write down when you went to bed, when you woke up, whether you woke during the night, and how you felt in the morning.
Yes. The goal is not to become obsessed with every minute. The goal is to notice patterns. Perhaps you sleep badly after a late meal, a stressful conversation, or 2 cups of coffee at 6 in the evening.
Speaking of stress, what can people do when they wake up in the middle of the night?
First, do not immediately panic. A brief awakening is normal. Try slow breathing and avoid checking the time repeatedly. If you remain awake for a long time, get out of bed and do something quiet in dim light. Return to bed when you feel sleepy again.
Why avoid checking the time?
Because it can create a cycle of worry. You look at the clock and think, it is only 4 hours until I have to wake up. Then you feel anxious, and anxiety makes relaxation harder. This is sometimes called clock watching.
That makes sense. But we should also be careful not to present general tips as medical treatment. If someone snores loudly, stops breathing during sleep, has severe insomnia, or feels exhausted every day, they should speak with a healthcare professional.
Absolutely. Insomnia means ongoing difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or getting restful sleep. Occasional bad nights happen to everyone, but persistent problems deserve attention. A professional can look for causes and suggest appropriate support.
Let's practice a few natural expressions. If a friend asks, "How did you sleep?" you can answer, "I slept like a log." That means you slept very deeply.
Or you can say, "I tossed and turned all night." This means you moved around and could not sleep comfortably. Another expression is, "I barely slept," which means you slept very little.
You can also describe the morning, "I woke up feeling refreshed." Refreshed means rested and full of energy. The opposite is, "I woke up feeling drained." Drained means that you have almost no energy.
Here is a question for our listeners. What is one small change you could make tonight? Maybe you could stop drinking caffeine earlier, prepare your clothes for tomorrow, or spend 10 minutes winding down without a screen.
I would choose a consistent wake-up time and a short reading routine. I also want to write down tomorrow's tasks before I get into bed. That may stop my mind from racing because the tasks are safely on paper.
That is a useful technique. A short list can give your brain permission to stop holding every detail in memory. But keep the list practical. Bedtime is not the best moment to plan your entire life.
Very true. Good sleep is not about achieving perfection. It is about building habits that support your body and mind. One difficult night does not ruin your health, and you do not need to feel guilty if your routine changes sometimes.
Let's recap today's key points. First, sleep helps memory, attention, emotional balance, and physical recovery. Second, a regular sleep and wake schedule can support the body clock.
Third, create a wind-down routine and reduce screen use before bed. Fourth, make your bedroom comfortable and reserve the bed mainly for sleep. Fifth, pay attention to caffeine, naps, stress, and other patterns in a simple sleep diary.
And finally, occasional tiredness is normal, but ongoing or severe sleep problems should be discussed with a healthcare professional. Our useful vocabulary today included groggy, sleep-deprived, alert, wind down, associate, brief, refreshed, drained, and insomnia.
Thanks for listening to the English Daily Podcast. Try using one of today's expressions in a sentence, such as, I was groggy this morning, but I hope to feel refreshed tomorrow.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who is learning English. We'll be back soon with another interesting topic and more practical English.
Until then, take care, sleep well, and keep learning.